Welcome to People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.
Good day and a warm welcome to everyone. Today in the studio with us, we have a very special guest, New York State Senator James Sanders of the 10th Senate District. Lovely to have you, Mr. Sanders. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm on cloud nine and I'm enjoying it, but I'm doing well.
I can imagine. So, Senator Sanders, now that Governor Hochul has signed the reparations bill into law, what immediate impacts do you anticipate this legislation will have on New Yorkers, particularly those of African descent?
Well, one of the immediate impacts is that we're going to have a very overdue conversation. We're going to speak about the problems that have occurred from having served or survived slavery, American apartheid, Jim Crow, and the oppressions of today. And so part is we'll have the conversation that is way overdue. Another part that we will have is that we will talk about what does reparations actually mean? How can, if one can, repair from the damages of the past? That's a worthy conversation. Of course, we'll speak about who should get it and who shouldn't, and many other conversations, but we're into a period now where we will have overdue conversations.
How do you think this commission's work can contribute to a broader understanding and acknowledgement of historical injustices in New York?
Well, the commission has been tasked, of course, to come up with exactly that. They are going to come up with dozens of or many different recommendations, some of them based on law, some of them based on policy. They may even talk about the educational system that we have. They will look at many different ways of seeing how do we create a far more equal society than we have now. And they will recommend it to the state legislature, and then they will have done their job and it will become our job.
So the commission compromises or will compromise members with diverse expertise and lived experiences. What specific qualifications or perspectives do you believe are crucial for these members to effectively address the issues at hand?
Well, besides having a certain amount of knowledge of the subject, I would encourage people to have a certain amount of patience, the ability to work with one another, the ability to decide that we are New Yorkers and we're going to see this issue through. I think that those are some of the key things that they will need. Sure, knowledge of the issue, and how you come about this knowledge. Is it law? Is it sociology? Is it economics? There are many ways of coming about the knowledge that's needed, but even after the knowledge, you have to figure out how to work with 9 people to get 9 people on the same page. 9, incredibly talented, smart, and diverse people. Get them to the same page so that we can at least have a chance of getting 20 million New Yorkers to the same page.
Given the establishment of the commission, how do you see its role evolving in the coming years, and what benchmarks do you think are essential to measure its effectiveness?
Well, in fact, you have benchmarks already. By law, they have to be named and have their first meeting within 6 months. So there's your first benchmark. Then they have 1 year to produce a report. So you have your key benchmarks right there, and they don't have a lot of time, so you really need to choose the right people.
So you mentioned the commission will submit its findings at least a year after its first meeting. What steps can be taken in the interim to ensure the community stays informed and involved in this process?
Well, I am recommending that the community create its own people's commission, if you wish. I think that we need a device where the people can stay informed and take advantage of all of the other experts. New York has more than 9 experts. The committee will be composed of 9 people, the commission rather. And New York has more than 9 people who are well versed on these issues. Under those conditions, it would be wise for us to take all of this talent to everybody, for whatever reason, who has not been chosen to be on the commission, and have them work on what does it mean? What should the commission come up with? What are the findings that we can answer? What are the questions that we can answer where we can submit our findings to the commission? And they may accept or reject, but at least they will be informed by us.
Can you elaborate on how you envision these studies being conducted and what methods might be most effective?
Well, to take the question of generational wealth, the chief subject under that would be economics, and therefore we would need to hear from some of the best economists as to what is a holdup, what is provided, what has not been done to allow the African American community to generate intergenerational wealth. But that is not simply economics. You may want to hear from some sociologists on this. You may want to hear from several tax consultants. You may want to hear from accountants and policy specialists. So the chief for that example, of course, would be economics, but you would want to hear from many, many different fields to get you an answer.
So we know that California has a task force in regards to reparations as well. Drawing from their experience and their extensive report, are there any specific recommendations or approaches from their work that you think should be considered or adapted by the New York Commission?
We are really very grateful to California going first. They went first, and they have done an incredible work. If one looks at their document, their final report was 1,100 pages, and it is an incredible read. So we have some very good baselines to look at. New York, of course, is the Empire State, and while we applaud California, the situation in New York will be very will be like none other in the world, as New York is like none other in the world. So we will learn from California, but New York will absolutely have its own report in its own way.
Of course. And finally, I want to ask, how do you hope the actions taken by New York in establishing this commission and studying the reparations will influence other states or even federal policies on addressing racial justice and reparations?
Well, as goes New York, so goes the nation. New York is the type of state where other states are always looking at for best practices, whether it is in the world of sports or whether it is in the world of you name the world, art, entertainment, whatever you want to do. One of the first places you're looking for where you want to spot trends for the nation is New York. And under those conditions, this will be very similar. So therefore, we have to get it right. We have to really make sure that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed, that we have answered the questions of the day, and that we have provided some type of guidelines, some type of answers, and towards the directions that the nation needs to take if we are going to make sure that New York is New York for everyone.
Thank you so much, New York State Senator, Senator James Sanders of the 10th Senate District.
You're more than welcome.
People, Power, and Politics. Hard talk, riveting interviews, community updates, in-depth analysis. That's People, Power, and Politics. We tell it to you as it is. No holds barred. You are the people, you have the power. We bring you the politics. To listen to our show, be a guest, or to advertise, visit www.pppradio.nyc. That's www.pppradio.nyc.